Welcome to the Six Figure DJ Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle, aka DJ RunDat. I'm so excited to share a series of interviews where DJs from around the world share their stories and secrets to hitting six figures and beyond in their DJ business and how you can too. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you hear, please rate and review the podcast and share it with your friends. Hi, welcome back to the Six Figure DJ Podcast. Today I have a very special guest, DJ Dayna. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So, you were the first person I ever interviewed over 4 years ago. I learned so much from you. And since then, I have had a lot of growth in my life, in all areas of my life, and especially in business. And I know you have also.
Yes.
I'm excited to dive in and hear a little bit more about what you've been doing and your strategies to hitting that six-figure mark, which is such a big accomplishment that I think is worth celebrating.
Absolutely. 100% agree. I still pinch myself sometimes.
Yeah, it is unbelievable to me that we can generate $100,000 or more from playing music and entertaining people and having like so much fun.
I know, right?
Best job ever. Yeah, pinch myself. So when we first met and you were so nice to say yes to being interviewed, not knowing who I was, not very many people knew who I was. There were a few things that I learned from you. One of them was,
I'd love to hear.
we had a magazine. There was a DJ magazine. It was digital at the time. I would have never thought, oh, there might be a digital DJ magazine. And DJ conventions. I had no clue that those existed. And I think everybody needs to know about those and experience those to really grow.
Sure.
Yeah. And the other one was DJing on cruise ships, which I don't think you're doing much of that these days. I haven't seen any of that, but that is something that's now on my wish list. Yes, because I think it's as a DJ, it's fun to try new things and new venues and challenge ourselves to step out of our comfort zones. And so, yeah, those were some of the things I learned from you then. And now I'm so excited just to hear what's been going on and what are your main events that you're focusing on these days?
Yeah, sure. That's a good place to start. Maybe I'll backtrack just a little bit and maybe give a little summary from where I was at 4 years when we interviewed to up till now and where I'm at. So 4 years ago, that would have been 2019, if I can do my math correctly. And that was a year that was pretty, I'd say, pivotal moment for me in my DJ business. I felt like I was at the peak. I was that year alone. I'd have to go back and double check the for sure number, but I know I did over 100 events that year for sure. And that was a combination of not just events, but also cruise ships as well. So I was heading out, typically 1 month contracts. And then in between those cruise ship contracts, I was also doing weddings and corporate events, social events, fashion shows, everything. I have always been a diverse DJ. I would say I've never been exclusively a wedding DJ or exclusively this or that. So it was a very big combination. I was traveling a lot too, doing not only the cruise ships, but doing some national stuff. So it was overall a really great year. And however, by the end, I'll be fully honest, I was burnt out and I almost wanted to quit because it was too much. And that was when 2020 came at the beginning of the year. The last cruise ship I did was February 2020.
Wow.
And that was in Southeast Asia. So I was over where, yes, the C word was evolving. But I came back and, I think for me, 2020 was a big year as for all of us to like kind of step back, take a look inward, reevaluate where we're at, where we want to go. Because I know I'm not the only one guilty of, as an entrepreneur, and I actually have another celebration this year too. This is actually my 10th year being a business owner, solopreneur. Yeah, so I have that to celebrate. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately, as you can imagine, this year. So I would say, though, 2020 was the year that I did take a step back. And while I thrived, through that year, I'm very grateful. I knew I had to change some things within my business as well, because I could not keep up at that pace anymore. I didn't have a desire to, and physically and mentally, it was taking a toll on me. So after 2020, when events, started to happen again, and we started rebuilding the events industry, I really decided on the type of events and become, kind of narrow down and more find the niche and the type of clients that align more with my values, as a person, but also as a business. And so where I'm at right now is I've scaled back the number of events that I do in a year. So I'm around 60 to 70 events. And I have also specifically, as of this year, I capped how many weddings that I do as well, because I found for me, the more weddings that I did, the less joy I filled. And it wasn't, or joy that I felt. It wasn't anything having to do, with the couples. I love every couple, but I felt I had to really be specific on what kind of wedding client that I wanted to work with and who I wanted to attract. So with that being said, then I felt like now the couples that I do book, and the fact that I have been able to scale back on that, I feel it has given me a more enriching, authentic connection relationship with the couples. And I just feel so much better about that. So that's one thing now. So where now I have increased the number of corporate events and conferences that I have done and private celebrations. So, and as I mentioned too, I don't do cruise ships anymore. So I do a lot of destination events, as far as like corporate and then local. So a little bit of combination of everything. So still do a little bit of variety, but I have definitely, like I said, fine-tuned and really narrowed down that niche of what kind of clients that align with me and my brand.
I love that. Yes, yes. That's so great to be able to get to that point where you can be
very liberating.
Active. Yeah. I love that. I'm there too in my own way of where I am not really doing club stuff. It's just tiring. My weekends are for my kids unless I'm at a wedding usually. So
yeah, I hear you on that one. I just don't have a desire. That was another reason too, cutting back on weddings. I don't have kids, but I just wanted some weekends back as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, how many weddings are you taking a year?
15 was my cap this year.
Wow.
And then next year's 10.
Oh
and
my.
I'm gonna slowly transitioning out of weddings.
Yeah, they are a lot of work.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun, but there's a lot of
I think it's just one of those times in my life, and we'll probably touch on this a little bit later, but too, I'd say the last 2 years have been very transformational for me on a personal level, but also on a business level. And when I see myself envision the next 5 years, it doesn't. I feel like in order for me to make those dreams and visions come true, I have to start making some changes now, and one of them being cutting back on certain type of events. So.
Yeah. I'm curious about breaking into the corporate world. Where I live, it's not the biggest city. And corporate looks a little different here, I would say, in a lot of places. But I'm wondering maybe what are some key strategies that you use to consistently secure high-paying DJ gigs and corporate gigs in particular, because that's something that I haven't really experienced a whole lot of.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, what I always suggest to people is the power of building authentic connections, relationships. Yeah. It is so powerful in this business. And you're never go into a conversation with the intention of what can they do for me? How about going into the conversation, what can I do for them? Or how about I just want to learn about this person and find out more about their world, their role and what they do. Networking, is definitely goes hand in hand with that. So I've been a big networker for years, and I truly feel like that has gotten me to where I'm at with a lot of events, especially in the corporate space. There's a lot of like local, they're called DMCs. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called destination management companies, and every big city has one. So what I did was I started, instead of within my own city, instead of, of course, networking with other event industry people around here, I mean, clients are everywhere. You're not only going to get bookings from other vendor referrals, or venue referrals, but you can get them from anybody that's part of like a company or an organization. So once I heard about this destination management company, I'm like, oh, what is this? And so I realized that they are like key players in the corporate world and corporate space as far as like the entertainment goes. So what I did was I found, Columbus has a local like tourism DMC company called Experience Columbus. So I went ahead and started attending their meetings and networking within their offices and getting to be friends and building those relationships with their sales team. So I became a member. So I'm a member of Experience Columbus as well. So that has been a huge factor for me. And also, I get access to their whole entire database. I know all of the conventions and conferences that are coming up in the city. I have access to all of the planners' information and contact info. So I can personally pitch myself to them as a DJ option of entertainment if they're looking for that. So it's pretty big. I haven't used it to like the full capacity I feel that it offers. Because I'm also still like a one-woman show. And as you know, we wear many hats as entrepreneurs. However, I just hired a VA. So of course, I'm delegating, I'm learning that, giving up control of everything.
Yes.
Awesome. So delegating out more so I can also focus on that type of, thing within the business. So that would be the networking, building, authentic relationships, the DMCs, and also I just try to find unique ways. I just think out of the box of how can I, meet new people in a different space, or in a different industry, because you just never know where you're going to get leads from.
Yeah, I know. I've been getting some cool ones lately that are really exciting. I got to go play in San Francisco twice this year.
Oh, that's fun. Who is that for?
For, like an all-day music festival in North Beach, San Francisco last week.
Oh, cool.
Just got to play in Golden Gate Park, like overlooking the Ferris wheel. It's just like really special, different things. Like, so exciting because we don't know what's coming next always. And just networking is always, I feel like, the number one key to my success is my relationships.
And I think too, I should add on a personal level, I feel people, are drawn to certain personality types. I think if you're friendly, reliable, trustworthy, honest, and just being very genuine about your intention and about who you are, that really shines through, and people will gravitate towards that as well. So leave your ego out the door. And do that. But the other thing I was going to mention too, because you said how the cool events that you just did in San Francisco. I mean, I guess I should probably share a few cool things that I've done too within the corporate space, just to give people an idea from these connections. Like this year has been a very big corporate convention conference year for me. I've done a lot of multi-day shows for like 31 Gifts. Avon has been one of my past clients. I've also done stuff for Plexus and Pure Haven, a lot of the MLM companies. This year I did PCMA, which is actually one of the biggest organizations for like event in the event planning world, actually, where a lot of DMCs were there. But I did like the opening general sessions. So as people were walking in, creating the vibe for that with my drummer, because I do a DJ drummer combo as well as DJ sax. And then I also had the honor to DJ one of the closing night shows. That was like the Fashion and Music Fest, because Columbus is actually known for music and fashion. And it was just like the coolest thing. I had like they built they called it a container. I still don't even know what to call it to this day. But I was up there. I actually got to get outfitted in this crazy cool outfit by one of our local fashion designers. And I performed as people were walking in, again, setting the vibe and the ambiance, and leading right up to John Legend performing. So John Legend was there, and a few of the other corporate shows I've done in the past. Ironically, I'm not a country fan, but I've also performed alongside Dan and Shay and Brad Paisley, a couple other of the corporate conferences that I do, because they like to bring in high profile like celebrity artists like that. So you never know what type of events you're going to get and who you're going to maybe open for, so to speak. I usually don't say like open, but because I feel it's more of like I performed at this event where they were at type of thing. Open's a different story when you actually open for a celebrity artist.
Warm up the event for them.
Yes, I warmed it up. I got the crowd hype.
That's so exciting. I'm loving this because already you're teaching me things like always. I'm like, I got some ideas already brewing. So yes, that's so cool. I mean, that's a fantasy of mine, is to get outfitted and, have them have their.
Oh, it was so fun. I got my makeup done, hair done, everything.
Ooh,
it was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about just kind of, your personality and being, easy to, get along with, and professional, and attracting, the right people by being your authentic self. And I think that's something that's really important. And I say that my energy is my biggest asset. This is something that everybody can duplicate. And you are amazing online, just with your dancing and your silly stuff, letting your sillies out. Like, I love that about you. Like, that takes bravery.
All right.
I mean, it does take a little bravery. Like, I would not be able to go dancing on there unless I was like, I don't know.
I love to dance. It's definitely a passion of mine. And there will be more dancing DJ Dayna next year. I've been trying to figure.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
So we spoke before we went live on this interview about having a business coach. And I know for me, that was probably the best move I ever made in business move and in my personal life. The amount of growth I've had since having a business coach and having coaches. And I want to hear a little bit more about that. So, what made you decide you were ready for a business coach, and what do you think has been some of the biggest wins from having that support?
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this. First of all, because, oh man, it took me a while to finally make that decision. And part of my hesitation, as you know, they're not cheap for good reason.
Yeah.
They are a big investment. And I had hesitated for so many years because of that. Little did I know what you invest, you get in return. And I think I heard that. However, my logical brain, and Dayna was like, well, reality check. Wait a minute, though. It might not be a smart idea to do that quite yet. However, I'm a firm believer in timing as well. So part of it was a intuitive voice that pushed me to go ahead and say yes. The other part was also meeting the right business coach. And actually, I've worked with 2 different ones so far, and I interviewed 4 total. I don't know if you did that as well, but that's one piece of advice I like to give is, interview at least, I'd say 3 or 4 people. They all have different styles and different focuses and areas of expertise. And I think through their free, their discovery call or consulting call, what they call it, not only do you also learn a lot about yourself and what you're looking for, but also you realize what you need as far as from a business. So that process was really cool. But the first business coach I worked with, she was local, so she was recommended to me. Honestly, let me backtrack for a minute though before going into the decision-making process to answer your question, like really what ultimately, besides just the intuitive voice telling me, okay, it's time to go ahead and invest in a business coach. I felt, along with the overwhelm of doing everything myself, and I really wanted to start delegating more, and I wanted to create more creative space in my calendar. I was just struggling in areas that I felt it would just be so nice, to have somebody to help be, more of a mentor and a teacher and a guide to help, because I felt this huge desire. I just really saw big things for my future, but I felt I was struggling with, the big picture and then breaking it down into like the small actionable steps. And I felt a business coach would be the perfect type of person to do that with. And so, yeah, that was the ultimate decision, is like, I have to do something because I don't want to continue on this path. I feel like I just need I felt this drastic major shift, change that I wanted to create. So the first business coach I worked with, she was wonderful. And she basically helped me with numbers and understanding my numbers. Obviously, I don't have a business background. I would say, numbers and like financial stuff is not my strongest suit. I'm not terrible, but that was something that I never took time to learn. So she helped me with the core foundation of looking at my numbers and really understanding where they're going. And then the current business coach, now I've been working with her for a year. I did a group coaching program that was called Own Your Own Genius Zone. So it was I learned a lot about what are my high value, activities, which is our genius zone. We talked a little bit about the wealth consciousness, learning about money mindset, shifting your money story and creating a new narrative for yourself. So that was the big aha moments for me as far around money and finances, was that whole teachings that she had. But yeah, Marla Diane is the current coach that I'm still continuing to work with. So she focuses on not only just personal branding, but she's also a transformational artist, and she specifically works with creative entrepreneurs. And she also has background in business success strategists and personal branding. I already mention that? But yeah, so she has like a very cool niche, and she comes with just an extensive wealth of knowledge. And so we've been working through this year with coming up with my goals, and then breaking them down, and everything that I needed help with, she's helped me, just creating this. And actually I'm going through a big transformation this year with a rebrand as well. So she's been very, very integral piece to all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm seeing a few rebrands that are amazing. And I think probably everyone could be due for a rebrand, because the amount of growth we've had, especially in the last 4 years, what has happened in this world. I think we're all just we're just different people now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We're just different now, and the world's different. And yeah, so having somebody to support you through everything you just spoke about is so important, because a lot of us are just out here winging it. I mean, I had some business background because of my own clothing line and stores that I was, managing and learning as I went along. And there's so much more to learn. So having support is definitely crucial. It's something that I think really helped me get to that next level in life and in business. I am curious if there's, any special branding techniques or anything that you've learned from her, any shifts you've made that you feel has helped you to attract those higher end clients.
Yeah, gosh, we've been doing a lot of work. From a branding perspective, and also I've had a lot of help with the website designer and her team with that. But I think she didn't put me through a lot of assignments and exercises, a lot of those like really hard questions that I never thought about, about branding and vision, as far as coming up with like just as simple things like brand words. And we also, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of all the different exercises we did. But I know I should have pulled up the form of the assignments here. Again, so she gave me a list of questions, like creating my ideal client avatar was one of them. I had never done that.
Yeah.
I actually kind of winging it along, but not really, again, going back to sort of taking just all the different kinds of events. And then all of a sudden I felt with her, it was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to take all of these events. I don't have to say yes to everything. I can actually define what my ideal client avatar is. So there was a lot of questions. She had me actually specifically talk about, a couple different scenarios with clients, as far as like their age, what they like to do, what kind of job. And super, super specific. So I just created this story, about, or the clients that I work with and, or have worked with too in production companies. And Yeah, that was like, it was really a cool process. I mean, honestly, the whole process of that was really neat. And going back to the money story about creating a new money narrative, kind of getting rid of like the old money story that I was taught growing up, and what does that look like now? As far as, like from a money standpoint too, is really figuring out, how do you perceive yourself, your worth and your value, and how do you translate that to an ideal, client too. So I mean, it has to, of course it has to do with your the presentation and how you carry yourself, and of course the whole operating and sales system process. I have definitely fine-tuned that. I think it is very impressionable upon like the higher end client is when you have a really nice streamlined process in your business, and that you're also is a quick communication. I think is also key. Quick turnaround. I usually always respond to emails within 48 hours at the max. And that's something, but I think just that extra higher level of customer service in general, and how you serve your clients and make it easy for them, and kind of eliminate that anything that you can do to eliminate decision fatigue, because higher end clients, they're busy, they've, just like a lot of people, busy lives. So what can you do to make it easier for them to work with you, and fun, keeping it fun. Yeah.
I love that. So systems, this is good. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, are you using an online client portal?
Yeah, I've been using Tave for, gosh, I think 5 years now.
Okay.
So I jumped on that bandwagon actually, so to speak, a little earlier.
Mhm.
And that has always been super helpful. And even this year, I had to go back after working with Marla some more. I realized, ooh, my sales system needs a little tweaking. And that also is a reflection of what more can I automate? I know that you're a big uh, person on automation. You had your little like team of interns working for you and delegating out and automating things.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think automation is a lovely thing to add to your business.
Yeah, yeah.
Do.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I also pride myself in being a very fast responder. There's a quote from one of my mentors, money loves speed. And so sometimes I might be hanging out with people, but I get that alert that I have an inquiry, and I don't have notifications on my phone unless it's from Honeybook, which is my booking site or my CRM, or Venmo. So I don't have alerts. So if I get an alert, it means business. And so sometimes I'll be like, I'm sorry, I'll be right back, because I mean, that's kind of bad, but like money loves speed. You gotta be fast. And they're always like, wow, that was fast. Thanks so much for responding so fast, and I just feel like to me, it's a big priority. My friends, they're fine with it. They're fine with it, I think.
That's funny.
But yeah, being able to communicate fastly, making it easy and fun. I like that. I'm curious, what are some ways that you're making it fun for them? Like,
Yeah, I think I love the process of, I hop on like a creative, usually try to touch base with clients a couple times, and I call the first session the music mixology experience session. I do that with my wedding clients, but also corporate clients, where we really talk about music, because I take in everything, like the theme, the purpose, the aesthetic, the brand message. I take in everything as a whole as I'm going into selecting and programming music. And I think they realize, oh, I'm not just hiring, a DJ that's just going to figure out what to play, and maybe I'll give them a few requests stuff. But no, I was like, I really care about how, bringing your vision to life. So let's talk about everything. Let's talk about, just like demographic. What are people doing before the event? What are they doing after? I mean, those are all things that can play into the music tone. So I know that, I think that they realize how much, I take, into consideration as far as that. I think they have fun with that too. And also, I don't know, and also a day of event too. I'm really like go with the flow and adaptable, reliable, and I just bring a really great, I'd say, sunshiny energy and positivity anyways to like the meetings. And I just always show a lot of enthusiasm with everything. So I feel that is a big piece of how I make it fun for them.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, nurturing those relationships. I love how you're getting more intimate with them. That was a goal of mine. A couple years ago, my word was intimate, and I wanted to get more intimacy. I wanted to get more intimate,
Oh
not
yeah,
only
I
with
love that.
myself, but with my clients and my vendors. And that's putting a lot of heart into your event. And I always try to tell my clients it's really all about your vision. What is the vibe you want? So I love how you're really getting into some details with them that I wouldn't think to ask.
And that's also too a reflection of, I feel, with, as far as going back to pricing, that right there is a reason why I charge what I charge too, is the amount of, detail and comprehensive time that I spend with clients. So, and I tell them that, in my proposals, and so they understand, where I'm coming from. Because yeah, again, you have to be very clear and specific to your clients, especially in the corporate world, what what is included in the pricing. So it's not just, and I think I meant to say this earlier, but then I went off on another tangent. But we're more than just production. We're more than just bringing speakers and supplying the music and mixing. But you really have to think about that with pricing. And what I work with my business coach this year is like, oh, like, wow, what is it? Well, first of all, like, what do you feel your worth and your value? But aside from the production, though, all of the time and all of the money we have invested in ourselves with education and attending DJ conferences, spending, the money we put into, music, DJ record pools, researching music and coming up with, different routines or sets and things. So yeah, so I feel that all should be considered, into the pricing. And I kind of got rid of too, I was going to mention this as well, got rid of the hourly pricing, years ago. I don't go by hour anymore. Yeah, which I think is, yeah, different. It's more of like a talent fee and then production fee,
Huh.
and taking into consideration all of the preparation and personalization that I do with clients and meetings.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've seen this. I've heard about this. The talent, yeah, the talent fee, the production fee. I like it. I like
Yeah, yeah. I
it.
mean, you don't have to do it that way too. I mean, I still essentially think about what I feel my rate is per hour. What is my worth? Because you still have to have some kind of baseline of going off of that. But if you really think about it, you like really think about it, like I said, and this is a lot of the work with a lot of those exercises and assignments that Marla had given me. I was like, wow, when I actually broke down how many hours total I was spending, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm way worth more than that, You know?
Yes, I do try to explain to my clients, especially for weddings, that there's a lot of work that I do behind the scenes, customizing those playlists, co-creating those playlists with them, taking their requests
Yeah.
and dissecting it into what part of the wedding this would be good for. And uh,
Hmm.
a lot of work that goes in prior. So they're getting not just, 12 hours day of, they're getting at least 12 hours prior, probably. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Especially with weddings. Yeah,
Yeah. So the valuing your worth, that takes time to learn that. I think it's a
it
skill,
does.
skill.
Hmm.
And it takes some deep reflecting on our experiences and growing up and what was money like growing up and what were the stories that we were told or that we
Hmm.
created around money. And something that can happen is falling into a scarcity mindset, which is
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
it happened to me this
Me
summer.
too.
I had almost 3 weeks off, and I said, "This is weird." But then I had, the weekend before, I had 4 weddings with the company, so it's just like, but having that time off, I'm like, this feels weird. It's the middle of summer. I should be playing weddings, but I'm not. And I just took it as like, well, you know what? I get to enjoy summer.
Hmm.
Know that the gigs are going to come, and then next week I was like book 5 events, so it's like
Yeah.
just don't fall into that. But then as far as learning to value your worth and your money mindset, a coach definitely helped me with that also.
Yeah,
And
same.
being I have 2 children, and my time is very valuable, and time is our only non-renewable resource, so I have to really look at my time and the amount of energy it takes to do certain events and how to balance it all out.
Yeah.
I watched my coach when I first started with her. She was charging 8,000 a year. I watched her grow and charge $24,000 a year. And I was along with her this whole ride. And no, I did not pay $24,000. I became her event DJ. But like being in that coaching world, and watching her really helped me, think bigger and be like, well, you know what? Let's try this out. Let's raise every year.
That's what I did with Marla. Yeah.
Raise them. And it worked. And then, adding on add-ons for me was something that really helped me hit the 6-figure mark, was adding the photo booth, lighting, and also adding team to outsource weddings too. Cause I didn't, cause I could. And so all of those things really helped me get my numbers up, but you're pretty much by yourself, solo.
Yeah, I'm still rocking it solo. That was
I mean, you had musicians, which is really cool.
Yes, I do have that experience.
But so congratulations to you, because you're doing this on your own, and that's big.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally could relate to everything you had talked about just now as well. And with the scarcity mindset, because I did have to break that barrier working with Marla in order for me to expand, my wealth consciousness, as she calls it, and just creating a new relationship with money and viewing money differently. And it's all the work that you do, within your, the coaching program. You dive deeper than you actually, realize you do. But for example, and I'll share, I feel one of my scarcity mindset shifts that I had to make too was feeling that I wasn't worthy enough to make 6 figures. And I had to dig deep as to why. Where was that core, trauma or core wound that happened that I felt like I wasn't good enough to make that money? I didn't even think it was possible at all. And so I still, and sometimes I get emotional about it still, because it's still so new to me, and I'm still learning to be comfortable with this, and I'm also enjoying it and celebrating it. But when you start pushing yourself out of, your comfort zone, it stirs things up inside internally. And so you have to process, and you have to get comfortable with this new thing. I follow another life coach too, and she always talks about operating from your future version self. And so I keep that also in mind, is what would future version Dayna look like? Or what would she decide today to do? And what would she choose? Because, and those are all things, I've had to work on in the last, year and a half in order to that, like I said, to get to that place where, and the scarcity mindset is still something, it's always a work in progress. As you said, you experienced it earlier today. I've experienced it this year too, where I had a lull, I hit a valley as well. And bookings, I'm like, what's going on? But then like you said, then it's the next week you're but you have to catch yourself and become aware and change that thought, because our thoughts create reality.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you have to be careful.
Yes, I know better. And I'm like, come on, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. So, something that came up in my mind was, my coach would ask me do you have fear of failure or fear of success? And then she kept saying, how good are you gonna let it get? And we both you and I never imagined going into DJing oh my God, we're gonna hit $100,000 in sales DJing. No. No, that was
never in a million years. I thought maybe 80K, 75K. I was I'll be happy with 75, 80K.
Yeah. Well, then you just watch. I look at my numbers over the years. Started really tracking it in 2018, 2017, when I started to be oh, I'm going to actually do this as a business. This is not a hobby where people are going to just offer me $100 here and there. This is actually can be a real business. And I got really excited and took a lot of action, and I'm forever grateful that I took those chances, because it is taking chances. Hiring a business coach is taking chances. And, they say business development is personal development. It's so much who we are, and and our clients see that, and they see that. So I think you're doing an amazing job. You have a really exciting opportunity coming up here. Let's talk a little bit about the DJ Collective.
Yes, let's talk about the DJ Collective. I'm an OGer. I've been going since the beginning. 2013 was, I think, or not 2018. Sorry, 2018 was the first year of the collective.
Yeah, and this year you have a fun role.
I get to be one of the co-MCs. I'm very, very excited and very honored that they asked me. And it is very much in line with where this new chapter of my brand is going, which is more MCing and hosting and less DJing.
Yes. Okay. Well, you've got a good voice, personality.
Thank you.
Right. Fun and yeah, that's going to be so great. I can't wait to hear about how that all goes.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super.
Yay. Wonderful. So is there anything else you maybe want to share with us? Anything that you think was, helped you get to this next level in your business, and any advice to anybody maybe watching that's maybe scared to raise their rates or thinking about hiring a coach or anything? Any last thoughts?
Yeah, gosh, I know. Gosh, so many things, but well, I love, we've already touched on, just not being afraid of failure, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, having a support team, your support tribe of mentors and teachers and other DJs. I think that is like super, super helpful in the journey of success. The personal development, of course, and business development is don't be afraid of, digging in deep and leaning back and receiving sometimes too. And I think for me too, one of the biggest lessons for me this year has been on both like personal and business is about, taking a step back. And I kind of mentioned it earlier about really leaning into what your heart is speaking to you, because I feel the more that I has taken a step back and have become more clear, and I've been able to focus and get more clarity on what it is that I want to do next, and then how, to act on that and achieve that. So, but yeah, highly recommend a business coach, of course.
Well, that reminds me
to attend the DJ Collective as well in November.
Yes. Who you're surrounding yourself with, people that,
and always being open, to grow, like learning as well. Like always be a student.
Yes, I love that. And during the pandemic, prior to the pandemic, I was getting this advice: slow it down to speed it up. And then I was reading a book, and it was talking about in stillness you receive. So we as DJs are pretty fast paced. We're going. I feel like we're like doers. We're doing stuff. So I have challenge myself to learn how to slow down. Pandemic kind of pushed me into that, and taking that time to really feel into what you're wanting and what you want for your future. Like you said, I think it's really important having that clear vision. And it's not just about, oh, I want to hit 6 figures. Oh, I want to DJ this many events. It's more about, how do I want to feel doing this?
Yes. How do I want to spend my time and energy, and who do I want to spend my time and energy with?
Yes, I think all
absolutely
really helps.
And the other key thing I was going to say that is related to what we're talking about too is about creating your ideal work week, and scheduling in fun, scheduling in playtime, personal time first, then work. So that's a newer concept to me that I've been working on over the last year and a half as well. So that is something, definitely recommend.
Yeah, it's important. It's like, important.
Yeah, that quote that you said, the stillness, that's from a book I know I've read, and the name
Gabrielle Bernstein. You are not your guru.
Oh, okay. I read a book called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I know he says that in that book somewhere. Reading too. I love reading. Yeah, lots of books.
Yes. Reading's like a luxury, but it feels like luxury. It's really great. More people should read. All right. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's been really great to connect with you. And I know I took away some big takeaways and feel inspired to go search out some more local corporate businesses. See if I have, what did you call it? DMC.
There's one in San Francisco. for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Look up your DMCs in San
Okay.
Francisco.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And thanks everyone for tuning in.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.